Oh, yes, yes. There are many, many stories about this special holiday named Christmas. If you look on streaming alone, you will find lots of them. Oh yes, here we are. This is today's story. It's a delightful Christmas story about two podcasters named Scott and Joe, who were forced to watch a Christmas movie about an evil orphanage owner named Miss Mavilda and the 50-year-old children she abuses. Everything happens somewhere far, far in the south. Our story takes place in a house with two bitter adults and some microphones. The two podcasters lived under the control of the evil rules they placed on themselves in search of the worst movies ever made. They were always forced to do heavy, tiresome work by these wicked rules. While they never had time for classics or great movies, they had hope. The hope that one day they might stumble on a diamond in the rough and declare a bad movie a great one. Well, let's begin our story now. Everything starts when a couple sits down in front of their microphones and play this song.
You are being very, very naughty.
Naughty this! Garbage day!
I lied. I tricked you. We're not watching Don't Open Till Christmas. We lied. We watched something far better.
Oh my god. You son of a bitch.
Look, here's the deal. We did Christmas horror. We did Christmas action. Was it 2 action films? Yeah. Was it 2 action films? Well, I don't even know what you call Silent Night. I guess it was an action film. So we did Christmas horror, Christmas action, and so we have to finalize it with Christmas animation. With one of the worst Christmas animated films ever. This is a special that actually aired on USA Network once. 1991's A Christmas Tree.
Is it a Christmas tree or the Christmas tree?
You tell me.
You put this shit on. I have no idea. I'm like beside myself. First of all, it was 45 minutes long and it was just mind-boggling.
Is this the first, let me ask you this. Is this the first movie we've ever done on the show that we have to rewatch? Because I don't even know if I understand anything I just watched.
I don't understand anything I just watched, period. Like, I just don't.
You're absolutely right. It is The Christmas Tree from 1991.
Okay. Well, yeah. 1991. It was actually 43 minutes, I stand corrected.
43 minutes. And anybody can see this wonderful, wonderful Christmas movie free on YouTube.
I mean, thank God it was free.
Tell me you have this in front of you right now, the movie we just watched.
I do.
Tell me the director's name. Can you pronounce it?
Yes. Okay, the director's name is Flammarion Ferreira.
Okay. This director, he's been working for Walt Disney and like Hanna-Barbera forever.
Oh my God.
I'm almost questioning if any of these people are real.
I don't know what you mean by real. The voice actors?
No, I mean okay. This is 91. This movie came out in 1991. And I gotta say, this is a movie, if you told me, and you told anybody, if you showed somebody who really young today, this movie and told them this was an AI created movie, anybody would believe you. Because not one moment of this film feels like a real person did anything.
It really doesn't.
It feels oddly robotic.
I mean, this movie, can I call it a movie? Because it's kind of, I mean, it's only 45 minutes. Is that feature length? No, it's like a short, right?
Yeah, this is a Christmas special. We've never done a Christmas special. I wanted this year to do all Christmas specials, like the worst Christmas specials that have ever aired. But instead, we got caught up with some crazy, crazy stuff. This has been a really, really weird year of Christmas movies.
I mean, yeah, I feel like,
2 of these were accidents.
yeah,
this
they
year.
they were. We planned on other things.
Because this year, 2 movies were theater releases.
Yeah. So
And we just said, we got to talk about this on Talking Trash. Like, what are these films, you know? And so here we are again. I've like, well, we have to watch this. Originally were planning to watch a horror movie again, I guess, to bookend the month. And we realized we had seen it.
yeah, I mean,
And
it's hard for us to find Christmas horror that we haven't seen.
I have I have a pretty gigantic list of movies we still have never seen. There's sequels of Christmas movies that I didn't even know existed. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, we're always trying to bring a movie onto the show that we have never seen because we want our honest reactions, you know? And you can't get any more honest than this. And by the way, we didn't even say anything. Well, we didn't even open this properly.
Oh, we're just another movie night.
Yeah. We're so baffled by what we just saw.
Because
We have no clue.
My mind is in the freaking gutter. Like, what has happened just now?
We just started this like it was before and after. No, yeah. So hey, everybody, how you doing? We are just another movie night, and I am Scott,
And I'm Joe.
and we are talking trash.
Talking trash.
Talking trash indeed. And on Talking Trash, we ask 2 simple questions. We ask, is this the worst movie ever made? And if not, what is? And so that is the 2 questions we usually base everything on. And I will say that we don't do any research. We put a movie on and just spontaneously react to it after.
You know, I'm not going to lie, okay? This was just a blindside 100%. Because when we realized that we had seen Don't Open Till Christmas, I said to Scott, what the hell are we going to watch now? Because we're kind of like stuck. You know, we've seen pretty much every Christmas horror. And so what did you do to me? You just popped this on. You're like, I got it. And you had a shit-eating grin on your face the whole time. Like,
well, the reason
it was going to be something.
The reason is this is what I've always wanted to end the month on. This is what I always wanted to do on the show this Christmas. And I've been wanting to watch this for a long time. And
You've been wanting to watch.
this one, I wanted to watch it because I've heard other people say this is one of the worst things ever.
I don't even know who you are.
And I've been holding it, and you kept saying, no, we're watching Don't Open Till Christmas. And then I realized, Joe, we watched that last year. But we didn't do it on the show. We watched it with Joe Bob Briggs.
But like when you said Christmas tree, I was like, an animated. It's gonna be. I see. Here's the thing. I have a problem with animated Christmas movies because I kind of find them sometimes cute. You know, so we can't like do a Talking Trash on a cute animated Christmas movie. I just feel weird about it.
Right there, you added the word "cute" Christmas movie.
Did.
Instead, did you ever think of a nightmare scenario where the children look like old people?
Okay, here's the thing. This movie, I don't know what...
There's so much.
There's just so much to unpack. It's just so... It's terrifying. This movie is just... It's not supposed to be.
Well, let me ask... I gotta ask you so many questions after just watching this. First off, would you admit that for 25 minutes straight, we didn't say anything? Our mouths were open?
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. My mouth was wide open.
This has to be the fastest 30 minutes I have ever seen in anything we've ever watched on this show.
Yeah. It was, I mean, everything was just, it just kept, my mouth was hanging open. I was like, wait, is this real? Like, is this something that I'm supposed to be watching right now? Like, they put this on TV?
I had a box full of 4 cookies, right? This is how we knew how fast this went. I had a box full of 4 cookies. I grabbed them and I was just shoveling them in my mouth while I was in awe of what I was watching. And you finally figured out the cookies were next to me. And you said, is there any more cookies? And I said, oh my God, they're gone. Did you want one?
You know, you're
and
a fucker.
And you said, not anymore, you know? So you got up to get yourself a snack.
Yeah, but would it matter if I wanted a cookie? You already ate them and you didn't even offer me one. That's fucked up. We're married.
I didn't even realize that I ate them that quickly.
When you have
There was
four
only
cookies,
4 cookies.
that means 2 for me and 2 for you. But that's just not how.
Actually means 3 for you, 1 for me.
Okay,
You know,
I would have at least liked 1, but you fucking ate all 4.
You can't blame me. You can only blame Miss. What's her name?
Grimelda? What's her name? Griselmelda?
No. We don't even know her name.
Oh God, what is her name? I don't know. She's evil.
The orphaned children lived under the control of the evil rules of a lady named Mrs. Mavilda.
Miss Mavilda.
Mavilda. I knew I was close.
Miss Mavilda.
Miss Mavilda. You gotta blame her because I was in so much shock that I just was. My support cookies were going into my mouth. Look, you went and got a snack. And something happened on the TV, and I said, oh my God, you have to see this. Where are you going? So I paused it and rewound it a little bit. But when I paused it, I realized, we only have 9 minutes left. And you said, what? This was the fastest 30-something minutes ever. I could not believe how quick this went.
I know. It was ridiculous. But it's so, let's just tell our listeners what this movie is about. So we have here, it opens with, so Miss Mavilda.
No, it opens with the best narration that went on for 10 minutes. And we were like, and then the guy goes, and first off, when we said AI, even the actors are AI generated. Like that's what it sounds like. It's not. It's a real person, apparently.
I feel like the voiceover actors are just, they're just reading from a paper, like they're just talking to each other, telling a story, but they're not. They're not emphasizing anything they're saying. There's no emotion in anything that they're saying. It
was so quick, and then we snapped in because at first I had to look. Wait a minute, did someone take the actual movie and put their own audio over it? Because
it sounded like that.
It sounded like I was like, this has to be fake. So I went and looked, but when I grabbed my phone to look up, am I looking at the right movie? That's when the narration said, and that's where our film begins. And we both went, wait, what? Like, it's been going on for 10 minutes. The narration's just going on and on. So here's what I think happened, right? This definitely was supposed to be like a feature-length thing.
No.
You don't think so? I think this was originally going to be, but they just like fell out of budget or whatever. They had no money.
The story was so short.
So they just condensed it.
Yeah.
And they kept reusing animation over and over. And
you could tell that they reused the animation over and over.
Even the voice actors, they were told, like, we don't have much time. You have to read quick.
Well, let's begin our story now. Everything starts when a couple arrives in town seeking a better life.
Oh, God.
In the opening narration, we see they basically set up the whole movie, like you were about to say.
Yeah, it opens on Miss Mavilda in the orphanage. So Miss Mavilda runs that orphanage. There's 5 kids that live there. Now, this woman kind of reminds me of the woman, Carol Burnett. Is it Carol Burnett that plays the one who runs the orphanage and Annie?
Yes.
Yeah. So she reminds me of her. But she's this, super mean, stereotypical mean lady. And these kids are so abused. Like I'm not even. It's not even funny. Like,
is there only 5 kids?
Yes, there's 5.
Because at the end of the movie, doesn't one of the characters say, "In our 9 children"?
Wait a minute. You can't take this job. That's right. Because you'll be busy helping me raise 9 children.
Editor's note. The movie screwed up. There's actually only 7 kids in this film.
It seemed like they only showed the same 5 kids. But like
I know they had 2.
They're so abused, like, mentally, and they have like no clothes. Like, they're all wearing like ragged, just gross rags. They don't have any toys. They're not really not allowed to go outside. Like, this woman's just a total like lunatic that runs this orphanage. But the best thing is that we see, like, I mean, she's diabolical. She's given money by the mayor to take care of this orphanage and take care of these kids and give them what they need. However, she has a fucking gambling problem.
She has a gambling problem.
And she's using the goddamn money for the orphanage and the kids to gamble with her buddies.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
She used all that donated money in an irresponsible way. She would have her nasty friends over and gamble all night long while laughing and drinking and playing cards. There goes the children's bread for the week, so said Mrs. Mavilda, laughing with her friends every time she played a hand.
And the worst thing is, like, okay, I'm going to tell you what I thought when we were 15 minutes into this movie. I felt sad.
Oh, it's hard not to
These
be.
kids are so abused. They're, like, verbally abused. They're, like, they're treated so poorly.
To a comical, level.
Yes, that's why I was like, because the way she is with them, it's like, it's not supposed to be funny, but it is.
It's wildly insane.
And, you know, I started to feel bad for them. It's terrible because they're so cute and, you know, their little voices, and they're just, I mean, here's the thing. This is one of those movies where, like, the mayor is completely oblivious to everything that's going on. Because you can take one look at all of these kids and know that there's just something not right here. But, like, when he comes to deliver the money for her, for the kids, he comes, like, each week and delivers the money. She dresses one of the girls in a pretty dress with lace and frills, and one of the boys in, like, a nice little outfit with a bow tie. So it looks like they have new clothes, and, like, it looks like they're not, like, being, you know, abused and stuff. And he just buys into it. Like, he's only seeing 2 of the kids every week.
Yeah.
You know, like, where's the rest of the fucking kids?
I have so much to add to what you're saying. I have so many thoughts. She parades those 2 kids out in front of him to say, like, oh, we have clothes, new clothes that you gave us. Mm-hmm. And the moment he leaves, she strips them.
Oh my God. So when I tell you these kids are like, okay, so she's not beating them. She's not abusing them in that way, but she's, like, verbally abusive. Like, she doesn't, and emotionally abusive. Like, she doesn't give them anything. She barely gives them any food. Like, she's just like a hot mess of a person. And so as soon as the mayor leaves, she takes the clothes right off these kids.
Your face when they did that and they showed, like, basically, like, almost a naked child.
I couldn't believe it.
You were in shock. Like, what the hell is happening?
I looked at you like, did they just do this? This is a CBS special? Are you kidding me? Like, what?
USA, even worse.
Whatever.
Remember USA?
Whatever. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is not right. This is something diabolical.
She didn't really take good care of the children, but she made people think she did. For example, she had a pretty dress with bows and lace and a new pair of pants and a sweater to put on whichever child she was going to show off to the mayor. This way, every time the mayor came by, he always thought that Mrs. Mavilda was taking good care of her children. But after he left a donation collected by the townspeople for the orphanage, Mrs. Mavilda would immediately take off the child's clothes and put them away in a closet for the mayor's next visit. Poor children. Once more the victims of her numerous selfish tricks.
I mean, we have to watch this torture of this woman. She's just so awful.
Yeah. Oh, I literally have so many things to say that we got to talk about the mayor's money bags.
Okay. They look like ball sacks.
He holds them like 2 ball sacks. He always has, it's the same animation. And later on, it doesn't even make sense because he's like, I have so much extra money that I brought 2 bags, but in every shot, he always has 2 bags.
Yes.
And he holds them side by side like a nutsack. And when Miss what's her name?
Mavilda.
Mavilda holds them up to her chest. She's got 2 dangling sacks against her.
Oh my God, so funny.
It's
bad.
so
The
wild.
animation is bad.
We have to talk about the animation.
It's so bad. They keep recycling the same scenes.
I can't say her name. What is it? Mavilda?
Mavilda.
Miss Mavilda. She, oh my God. They gave her like these purple eyelids.
Okay, so I'm going to explain this to you. She had on, it was purple eyeshadow, but underneath her eyes, they wanted her to look as diabolical and mean as she possibly could look. So they gave her like eye bags.
Yes.
So it was like, dark circles under her eyes. But she had these like ridiculously huge lips.
Yes. And they're all purple.
And she had like purple lipstick on.
Yes.
It was so weird.
And the way that their faces move.
Yeah.
It's almost like someone's smelling a fart. It's this really weird expression, and everybody seems to do it. Sometimes the kids are cute for a second, and then they go back into their old people faces.
Yeah, see, the kids, I do feel...
It's really, really weird to look at.
I do feel like they all kind of like Barney from the Flintstones.
Yes. It's
so there's your Hanna-Barbera thing.
Yeah, loose Hanna-Barbera cartoon stuff.
Yeah. They have those manly looking features. The girls even have it. It's like boxy, almost boxy.
Yes,
and they don't have real like lips. It's just like a line.
It's almost like a point.
Yeah.
Like they drew a tiny lip point.
Yeah.
And it comes their nose line comes all the way down into that point on their lip. So it looks like one line that almost looks like a wrinkle, an old man effect.
Yes, it does. And like their eyes, all of them have the same exact eyes, but it's like droopy. Like they have droopy lids. So they all have the same exact face. Even the girls, like all of them have the same exact face. One of them is different because she has glasses and one of them has a hair bow. But otherwise, these kids are the same exact kid. Every one of them. Except for... So, okay, let's just go on forward with the plot because there's not much of it.
We have to... I mean, there's so many little things because... I mean...
Well, okay, I'm going to get into the plot real quick so we can continue on with
but the narration sets up so much plot. It's so quick. They set up so much plot, like... The orphans have no toys or no anything. They have to sleep in this room and they only eat bad. And also, the only thing that they have as a friend is their tree that's outside that they call Mrs. What?
Oh, God, I forgot the name of this stupid tree.
They have a name for a tree. It's very important. And you think we would remember this since it was such a short movie.
I know, right? I should know the name of the stupid tree. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so they have this... Their only friend, besides each other, is this tree that's outside their window. And
they also have a dog named Licorice who he keeps breaking away. It's like, and he looks exactly like the famous Walt Disney type dogs in any kind of like live, like one of their animated movies.
He looks like Tramp, but he's black.
That's why there's a bear in this movie for a couple minutes too.
Yeah.
And he also kind of looks like a cross Baloo. And from the Jungle Book and something else. That's how you can tell that they're reusing animation shots.
Yeah.
It's like
the tree is Mrs. Hopewell. That's the name of the tree.
Mrs. Hopewell is their tree friend. This all comes at you in narration.
The children never had toys, new clothes, or anything. But they had a friend. The pine tree they named Mrs. Hopewell. Yes, Hopewell. Because the kids believed that the tree was magical. It somehow was going to bring them a mom and a dad to adopt and take them away from the unbearable Mrs. Mavilda.
They even talk about her gambling problem and her friends that she calls over to gamble with, who always beat her.
Yeah, they're taking the money away from... Now, these people are the most awful, wretched humans because they know that she's gambling with the orphanage's money.
They have to know.
And because she calls them up and says, "Hey, Teddy,
it's that time of the month again.
I got paid. Come on over. Let's gamble. Let's play cards." And they know that they're taking money out of these children's mouth, like food out of their mouth and clothes off their back. And they're just diabolical pieces of crap humans. So right off the bat, there's like hardly anyone to like. So the narration, we're gonna
it finally stops there.
Yeah. So it stops there, but then we get to meet Mrs. What's her name? Oh God, the newest character and her family in this movie. Lily, right?
Oh, well, Lily's the.
Oh no, Judy. I'm sorry. Judy is the mom. Okay, so we meet her. Now, if you can explain this to me, because I don't understand. So, her husband's name is Ray, and so it's Judy and Ray, and they
this
have
is an
Lily.
Odd moment.
They have Lily and Poppy. I'm sorry, Pappy.
Pappy.
So it's Lily
sounds
and
like Poppy,
Pappy are their kids, right? So it's Judy and Ray and Lily and Pappy. And so they come into town and they're looking for a better life. And the mayor, I don't get this. The mayor has a job for Ray. But the condition is he can start the job right away, but his wife and children have to move into the orphanage where Judy would become Miss Mavilda's assistant. And that's where they're going to live while Ray is, I'm guessing, in training?
I don't know.
I have no idea what's happened here.
And Ray, if you're talking about, he looks like he's high.
They
Ray,
all look high.
And he just willingly drops his kids and his wife at an orphanage.
Yeah.
It seems very sus.
And then where the hell is he? Like, so they said you can start the job right away. This is the mayor telling him you can start the job right away, but you have to leave your wife and kids behind.
Yeah.
The mayor told the good man that he would offer him a job at the lumber mill, but for a period of time, he would have to live in the boarding house without his family. The mayor also said that he would arrange for the man's wife and children to stay at the orphanage, where they could get room and board. She could become Mrs. Mavilda's assistant.
Okay, where are you going, Ray? And why is that okay for you to leave your wife and kids?
Yes.
Like, that's just bizarre. And so we don't see Ray. Ray enters the movie and he leaves the movie
Until like the last 5
right
minutes.
at that moment. But so Judy becomes Miss Mavilda's assistant.
Which she gives her a list of work to do.
It's
It's like-
almost like she's being abused too, but she's like the sweetest
she is.
woman. The sweetest woman. And so Miss Mavilda has all these rules for her kids and says, you know, Judy, your kids are going to have to sleep with the other kids where they sleep.
They're
and
not going to be treated any differently.
and you only have 30 minutes a day to spend quality time with your kids. And I'd be like, bitch, no, you're not telling me how much time a day I can spend with my kids. Like, they're my kids. You know, and if I want them to sleep in this room with me, that's where they're going to stay. But Judy doesn't even say anything. She's like, okay, thank you for letting us stay here. You know, whatever.
Oh, we have to do some of their voices.
Oh my God, I can't. The voices are so
You have
bad.
to do hers. She's like, okay, Miss Mavilda, whatever you say.
It's so.
Hey,
it's
kids.
so drawn out.
And her kids talk like the little girl talks like this. I'm a little girl, and I can't even understand what I'm saying half the time. It's so out of control.
Everything is mumbled.
There's a couple kids I couldn't even understand them. Like they're
I couldn't
so
either.
quick.
I couldn't either. I didn't understand half the kids what they were saying at all.
Now Miss Matilda, on the other hand,
Oh my
is
God.
the Wicked Witch.
Yeah.
It's like the Wicked Witch, but someone got the actress drunk while she was reading.
Yes.
Oh, you.
We come from the mayor's.
I know. The mayor just called.
I'd better go now. Take good care of yourself and the children, Judy. I will be back before Christmas.
Don't worry, Ray. We're going to do just fine. You take care of yourself, too.
Goodbye, children. Be good.
Can we go now?
Yeah. It is high pitched, squealy, and like drunk.
I don't even know squealy. It's like a
Oh, she
someone
squeals
who chain
sometimes.
smoking.
Yeah, no. It's she
When
squeals.
she screams, it's funny.
You're gonna have to insert something in here because
come on, you
I'm
know me.
telling you, I cannot. Like this. These voiceovers are so bad.
And of course, the mayor talks like the mayor. You know how that voice is. He's like, let's get the children some clothes.
Oh my God! Yes.
What's the matter, children?
Like it's almost like
That's so bad. It wasn't it.
Going back to the early Hanna-Barbera cartoons, it's kind of like that. Like,
and the sound effects.
oh
I
God.
forgot. You just reminded me because of the Hanna-Barbera recycled sound effects. Like,
Yes.
someone gets smacked or jumps into the bed.
Yes.
It's like, ring. It's like the
Whoop,
that
whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah, the Roadrunner taking off.
Yeah. So they use those silly sound effects from like back in the day. But like
There's nothing like that
it's
says
just-
child abuse and Hanna-Barbera
Oh
sound
my
effects. They're
God.
really hammering the Christmas spirit.
I mean, you know how much I love Hanna-Barbera, so I'm not, whatever. But here's the thing. This woman, Judy, is the nicest, sweetest, kindest person, and the kids love her. They take to her really, really quickly. So she builds them like this, like slide and swing on Mrs. Hopewell, which is the tree, so that they can have
That's
some
after
place to play.
She figures out the kids are all talking.
Yeah.
And it takes the kids a little bit to get used to her kids, but she has a teddy bear without one arm. Because even they're broke.
I mean, yeah, they're broke.
They're not living so good. They have a teddy bear without an arm. And the kid basically, well, her kids come and tell them about Christmas. And they didn't hear about it before. So they all are like talking about Christmas, and they're saying that, you wish for things on Christmas, and that all the kids should wish. And so the one kid's like, I wish for my teddy bear to have a second arm. And she's like, everybody can make a wish, And she finds the kids, and they're basically talking about the tree outside. And she's like, what is that all about? And they basically explain that the tree is what makes them happy. Mm-hmm. Because they don't have anything else. So she takes the kids outside. And, of course, Mavilda's mad about it. Like, what's going on? You got to do your work. You can't be busy with that. And she's like, I did it all. And she's like, yeah, you're ironed? Yeah. You did the dishes? Yeah. You washed all the clothes? Yeah. You waxed the floors? Yeah. You did the windows? Yeah. Okay, then get out of here.
Judy is quite awesome. Like, she had all of her whole entire, all of her chores done.
It's the one
and
joke that's
built a
funny.
slide.
The one thing that was funny was the floor is waxed, and they actually show a shot of it, like, boing.
Yes.
And then there's, the wax floor. You can see the reflections.
Yes, it's, so shiny and glossy. It was amazing.
It's the one joke.
So, we're trying to, she's totally, kind of one-upping Mavilda, because she's like, yeah, I'm awesome. I did all that, and I built a slide.
You're not even kidding. She built a slide
Yeah.
that goes around Miss Hopewell, the tree. It's perfect. She goes, oh, there's a whole stack of loose wood over there, kids. Go grab it. And the kids grab it. The next shot, there's a perfect slide built.
It is perfect, but you know what's funny about this? It's if this woman is this crafty, why can't she just build a house?
Yes. There's a perfect slide and also a tree swing. She would have to have gotten up in the tree to get the tree.
Yes.
I love this so much. And by the way, the shot, you never see the slide and the swing ever again in the shots.
No, the faraway shots when they're looking at the tree from
Never.
the window, the animation is so bad that they talk about the seasons changing. So it goes to fall and then winter, and then they show the long shot of the tree, and it's still, the grass is green. The
it's
tree
sunny
is
out.
still green. There's no snow, but it's winter.
Yep.
It's so bad.
And even hammer in that it's winter. They go, oh, the seasons changed. The months went by.
Yeah, so I said to you, I'm like,
Her
where
husband
the
never came
fuck is
back.
her husband? This guy is the worst husband of all time.
Yeah.
He left his family at an orphanage to do some job that's obviously taking months. They're not living together. What the fuck is happening? He just left them for months?
It's uncomfortable. It's so weird. He dumped them.
Bizarre. He did. He dumped them.
He dumped them off. And what's really crazy is that, like you said, she teaches them about Santa Claus. They didn't know anything about this. These poor kids didn't even know what Santa was. She's like, oh, maybe we can get some red felt. Right? Oh, she said red velvet.
Red velvet.
And they're like, what for? And she's like, oh, we're going to make stockings for all of you. And they're like, and you hang them above the fireplace. And they're like, what's that?
They have no clue about Christmas.
Yeah, I was waiting for one kid to go, what's a fireplace?
I know, seriously, would you even think that these kids would know anything about Christmas? They don't even have clothes on their backs. It's they have the same rags. By the way, that's another point to make. Not even Miss Mavilda changes her clothing.
She doesn't.
Nobody changes their clothes.
She bets it all. That's why. She bet all of her clothes away. Except when she's sleeping, she has a whole moo-moo
I know. It's true. That's true. And like a hat
In
and
a hat
everything.
and a little
But like
nightcap.
Judy always wears the same house dress. Like, like she's never changing ever. So it makes you wonder, like, okay, I guess they couldn't afford to do anything else in this movie. But this movie moves along so fast.
Yeah, we're going to take more time to explain it than the movie itself. Like
It's
no doubt.
true. So Miss Mavilda's an evil bitch. We obviously know this. And
You are the responsible one for all of this. If you hadn't put so much junk into their minds, they wouldn't be causing me trouble. Pack your things right now! You're fired! I don't want to see your face another minute! Get out!
she's like, oh my God, the mayor's gonna catch on.
Well, only because the mayor comes and says, I got extra money bags this year. I made so much money in donations. This motherfucker, he's gotten money coming with money bags every week, but he won't adopt these fucking kids.
I know.
Right? And he's like, oh, I got some money bags and I got extra. Enough, not only to buy new clothes for those poor kids, but also buy toys for Christmas.
Yep.
Which she finds out, Judy, is that her name? The helper?
Yeah.
That's why the kids are so much spirit recently. I can see that the kids have been happy, and it's all to you. I want you to go with Mavilda and buy new clothes with all this money I've just given her. And there's probably enough to buy some toys. And then she's like, oh, I can't wait to tell the children. Worst thing that you can do as an adult to say, hey, I have extra money. I'm going to get you guys toys and new clothes and everything.
But this mayor, can we just talk about, he is the most, he has no common sense whatsoever. He is completely, he can't observe the room. Like, it's Christmas time. There's not a single decoration, a single strand of lights. There's not a Christmas tree. There's nothing in this house. He goes there, honestly, are you the most blind person ever? This woman's not taking care of these kids.
I'll do you one better. He doesn't have a wife. He doesn't have somebody to go pick out clothes for these kids and toys.
I know. I don't get
instead,
it.
he just keeps giving Mavilda money.
And he trusts her. But
and he's more worried about the inspector coming. At the end of the movie, he actually says, what if the inspector came?
I know.
I'm like, oh, so that's what your real problem is.
What does that mean, inspector? I mean, you're the mayor, and you're seeing
a house code inspector. They see that the kids are not being taken care of.
Well, that would be protective services.
But okay, and I guess we should point out what year this movie must be taking place in. It seems like the 50s.
It's got to be the 50s.
They have cars.
Yes.
But everything else seems very they don't have anything else.
Right.
So the inspector going around seems very odd. I don't think there was social services going around.
I don't know. Whatever. But, this guy is the most non-observant person on earth. You can clearly see that these kids are not being taken care of. You could just take one look at the freaking house. This woman is clearly not taking care of these kids.
Yeah.
And so as soon as she gets the extra money, she's calling up her buddy Teddy or whatever, and she's like, hey, it's time. Come on over.
I don't think she specifically calls Teddy for these events, but she does call Teddy a lot later on in this movie.
Yeah.
And she says his name a shitload. So, yeah, but once she gets that money, after they just put this woman on it who just told the kids, you're going to get new clothes, you're going to get toys, we're going to give you all the wishes. Everybody make a wish to Santa Claus. Right?
Yeah.
So she could, that was her way of getting, figuring out what toys they all want.
Yep.
And I love one little girl's like, I want a new doll. First off, she doesn't have a doll.
She doesn't have a doll.
She's like, I want a new doll with new ribbons and everything. What doll? You never had a doll. The moment they saw her teddy bear, they freaked out and they all wanted to hold it. That's how poor these kids are.
It's so sad. I'm not going to lie. During this movie, there were so many scenes with the little kid voices, and they're telling the story about how they're so poor and they just they wish that they could have a mommy and daddy, and they don't have anything. They don't have toys. Bottom line is they're just it's just so sad.
It's sad.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
I can't even. I was at one point I was holding my face oh my God, it's so gut wrenching.
It's so sad.
Terrible.
But, that's the funniest part is Mavilda heard all that shit and she's just like this. gamble time.
Yeah.
So she calls her friends over, and she doubles down. She keeps saying to the friends, and they keep doing these hilarious Star Wars transitions with the spitting transition.
It's so quick. Like,
And
wait, I was
they
just in
keep-
one scene, now I'm in another, and it was...
Yeah, we
just-
watch a kid wish up to Santa Claus, transition to her gambling downstairs, and it's like in this comical little room that you couldn't even move your chair out of. And she's just like, oh, I'm gonna win. And the next shot is, I lost, Mavilda. And she's like, it's time to double down. And she pushes the 2 money bags into the table, and they're all like, Mavilda. And then, of course, one woman takes it no matter what. She takes all the money.
Yeah, it's like, dude, do you have any freaking, like, like, morals at all? Like, you're taking money out of these kids' like mouth, like they're not gonna be able to eat. And so now she's like, fuck, I lost all the money, now I can't take them to go shopping, and the mayor's gonna see that they have no clothes.
But it actually opens up on her laying in bed, and she goes, oh, I'm so hungover.
But she did have a glass of wine next to her.
Oh, I'm so hungover. And there's a knock at the door, and she's like, oh no, that woman's here. She wants to go get clothes. What am I going to do? What am I going to tell him? Oh, I can't let the mayor find out.
So then she's
She goes, you know what?
Some, like,
I don't care. I don't care if she knows.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna come up with like an elaborate like plan, like some big lie to tell her. She goes, "No, we're not going shopping. Why not? Because I said so."
And the money's gone. It's all gone.
And the money's gone.
And if you say anything, you're going to be in trouble. And also, I don't want the kids outside anymore. And she goes, you don't want the kids outside because you don't want the mayor to see them because they don't have new clothes. And she goes, all right, you figured me out, but you better keep your mouth shut. I'm like, damn. I actually thought for a minute she's going to say, I got to kill her.
Oh my God.
Did you have a feeling?
Yes,
I was like,
I did.
They're gonna do something like
because
this?
this movie, up until this point, we're only like, it's a half an hour in, and I feel like this woman's so diabolical and terrible that she would say something like that, but then it came back to me. This is a Christmas movie.
You gotta keep telling yourself this is a Christmas movie.
And so I'm just like, oh my God. And then so she gets rid of Judy. Judy leaves. And then so what do we pan to next?
Oh, no, what happens with Judy? Judy goes and has to break the news to the kids. You ain't getting nothing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And so
I was like, that's brutal.
Mavilda's like, you know what? There's a problem here. This is not going to work out. This woman's going to ruin everything for me. Yep. She's changing everything. You know what? I'm going to set her up like I set up the last woman that worked here. But I'll make it a little different. So I'm going to tell her to go get a package at that one guy's house. What's the guy's name?
Oh, wait, okay. It's Louis. Is it?
No, you said it before like 5 times.
I thought it was Teddy, but I think it's Louis.
Oh, I thought it was Teddy.
No, it's Louis.
Let me call Mel for some help with this.
Are you sure? I think it's Teddy.
No, there's no Teddy. I just looked. It's Louis. It doesn't matter.
Anyways, she says it
matter.
a lot. I'm shocked if you don't remember.
It's Louis.
So she calls him up, and the shot of this guy, he's on his like recliner watching TV, which is odd because the movie doesn't seem like they have TVs in this universe.
No, and
in
another thing is like it also.
I don't know why I said universe. This timeline.
It's timeline, but like it also looks like he's okay. So he's in a recliner and looks like he's drinking a beer.
Yes, like a canned beer, watching television.
And the house looks like it's got like stains on the wall. It looks like a shithole.
And he actually talks like this. What do you want?
What do you want?
Yeah, what? And then he's like belly out, the whole thing. It's so weird looking, especially when you see this character again at the end. He's a completely different character.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, she calls him up and she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna send this woman to your house for a package."
So she's gonna send Judy.
Yeah, and I want you to stick something valuable in her pocketbook. Now, Judy doesn't have a pocketbook.
No, she doesn't have anything.
Judy's broke. They don't have money. She has to live in an orphanage with her children, and her husband is just dumped her.
Who knows where he is? He could be living in a freaking brothel.
Yeah, and she wants her to stick something in her purse, so he can tell that she stole from him.
So she wants
now this
to
guy
set
doesn't look
her
like
up.
he has a valuable to put in her purse.
I mean, the only valuable thing he's got in his house is probably his TV at this point.
And I love how she says, really creepy. She says, "I know you're good with those fingers."
She said, "Do it quick. I know you're good with those fingers."
Yeah, I was like, ugh.
Mel, I have a job for you.
What do you want?
Well, I have this girl who's working for me now. I told her that you have a package for me. I'm sending her over to pick it up. I want you to place something valuable in her purse while she's in your house picking up the package. That shouldn't be too difficult for you with your fast fingers, should it, Mel? Oh, come on, Mel. Now listen carefully.
This is
Like,
weird.
it can't be creepier.
Mavilda, you kinky bitch.
Ew. So
yeah.
they try to set her up. Try to set up poor Judy.
This is where layers and
But
layers
this
of craziness
is where
happens.
Crazy, like the last 10 minutes of this movie are so bonkers. I still can't get my head around it.
Judy leaves and says, "All right, kids, I'll see you before Christmas."
I don't know what that means. Like, how long are you planning to drive to pick up a package?
Yeah, I was like, what day is it? Is it Christmas Eve? It seems to be 2 days before Christmas at least.
I mean, no, because this guy, Louis, we know his name is Louis now.
Mel?
Louis has to live close by because he comes for card games every week. So he can't.
I don't
she
think
can't
he's
be
one of the
driving-
cards people, but it
He's
doesn't.
not? I
I don't
thought he
think so
was.
because there's like a big woman and two other
No,
guys.
he
There's a guy
is.
that looks totally different.
No, he's 100% one of the card people.
Okay. Well, anyways, she goes to do that thing, but the funniest part is while she's driving out there, it seems to change the day to night really quick, and she is stopped by cops who say the road is closed. Go home. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
All right.
So
And
lucky
she's like,
Judy.
"Oh, geez." So Judy's got to come back, but she's been driving for a while. The whole setup on the phone, telling the guy this to rob her and stick her up. She also tells that guy, "You know what? That Christmas tree, that tree outside that they love so much, is also causing problems.
Yeah.
I have
No,
to
he
cut
didn't
it
tell her
down."
to stick her up. He told her.
No, I mean like to
she
set
told
her
him
up.
to set her up.
I meant set her up.
Yeah.
And well, after she like hangs up on that guy, and Judy had gone to go get that package, but then she has a second thought. You know what? I gotta take care of this tree too. And all of this is being said very loud with a door open, and one of the orphans is in the hallway hearing the whole thing. Right?
Yeah, so she knows that she set up Judy. And so she's like, "Oh no, what do I do?"
Yeah, but it's even worse. She says, "You know what? I gotta get that tree taken care of." She calls up that guy again, and she goes, "Hey, do you still have that electric chainsaw?"
And I looked at you, I'm like, electric
chainsaw.
What?
We're like, I don't know. Is it plugging in? Like,
Hello, Frank? Do you still have that electric chainsaw of yours? Good. I have a little job for you tonight. I know it's Christmas Eve, but I will pay you really well.
what is happening? Right? And then
Like, what the fuck
he
is
says
that?
yes. How fast can you get out here to cut that damn tree down? And he goes, and she goes, "Oh, after Christmas?"
Previously on The Christmas Tree.
Mel, how soon can you come over and chop this tree down? Good! We'll see you after Christmas then.
She says that after Christmas,
So
and she's like, "Perfect."
It must be Christmas Eve. It has to be Christmas Eve.
We'll get to it because none of this makes sense, right? So that's when Judy goes out there, and the little girl tried to stop her and warn Judy, but Judy couldn't talk to her. But she realizes, Milvilda realizes they're on to her.
Yeah.
So she basically locks them up in the room upstairs, and or no, not upstairs. They're like living on the first floor, I guess. And she locks them in, and she tells them there's no food tonight or whatever. And
She's just so abusive.
the kids come up with a plan, and now this shit is next level because Judy's off. Her two kids now think that she's gonna lose her job, and they're all gonna be thrown out into the street.
Yeah.
And also, they think that Mrs. Hopewell, the tree, is going to be cut down. So they have to do something. So they come up with the craziest bunch of plans ever. First off, they say, "We got to get to the mayor's house and warn the mayor." And they keep telling Judy's son, "You have to do it."
What about the mayor? He could do something, but how can we get to him? The phone is in Mrs. Mavilda's bedroom.
Somebody has to walk to the mayor's office.
Lily's right, at City Hall. Someone has to go there. But who? You, Pappy?
Yep.
And he's like, why me? He keeps saying it, and they're like, we ain't got time for that. They basically keep like don't worry about it. Right? and then they're like, but he goes, I don't know where the mayor's house is.
How would this little
I've
boy
never been there.
know where the mayor's house is?
Yeah. And it turns out that Licorice is randomly in the house.
Yes.
Oh, this is my favorite line, actually. Licorice shows up at the windowsill, and they go, oh, it's 9 o'clock. Because Licorice always shows up at 9 o'clock for food.
So the dog has a watch.
I just love that this little child that's never had a toy and doesn't know what Christmas is knows that it's 9 o'clock at night. Like, they have a clock.
Yeah. Yeah, and let the record show, okay, so this little boy is nominated to go out and find the mayor, right? But he doesn't even have a coat. Now, what really boggles my mind is that this family came to this orphanage. So when they came to this orphanage, did they not have a coat? Did they not have clothes for their children?
I mean, they're living in an orphanage. They're poor as all hell.
Yes, but it's also winter. I mean...
It wasn't when they got dropped off.
No, but still, like, you don't have a coat? Like, this kid's going outside, and there's no coat.
I would say that, does this woman not have a husband? I mean, I don't know.
This guy, Ray, he's like the worst husband ever. Awful. We never even see him. He's just gone. So he just drops his family off and dips.
Okay. But the plan gets worse. Because they figure out, you're right, we don't know where the mayor's office is. But you know what we do know is? We know where the North Pole is.
Oh.
That's where Santa lives.
Yeah, because she has one of the little girls has a book, and it has a map. So like, how do you have a book?
Yeah, but they go,
you don't have any toys.
Oh, Licorice knows where it is.
Licorice knows where the North Pole is.
And you know what? We can tie that shit pile of wood together and make a sled and tie it to Licorice, and you can go to see Santa Claus.
Yeah, go see Santa and ask him for help. Yeah.
And then they go, oh, and again, you have to go. And the kid's like, what the hell? Why do I have to go?
He somehow gets out of the house. I guess he crawls out of a window because he sneaks past Miss Mavilda.
No, they just jump out that room window.
Yeah, jumps out the window.
There's a whole gag with Licorice hiding in the bed because they shut him out the window without Licorice.
Yeah.
Then Licorice had to get outside. Then they tie the sled together and they take off into the night.
Yep.
Freezing weather. Freezing weather.
No snow boots, no hat, nothing. Like, literally, he's wearing, like, a button-down shirt.
And the little kid pulled out a book and said, here's the map. And there's, like, a map, and it's just, like, this joke with, like, a beach on one side.
It was like Candyland.
Candyland. Yeah, exactly like Candyland. And they're like, look, the North Pole's right up here.
Yeah.
Just go that way.
So, yeah, just point Licorice in the right direction. Supposedly, he knows how to get there. And so the little boy... Pappy, his name is. Pappy is riding on the sled.
It's almost on daytime.
Yeah, yes. And so
he's been traveling all night.
He sees
since
like
9.
Yes. And he sees like rustling inside the sled, and he's like, he pulls a blanket back, and his sister has snuck aboard. So now he's got his sister with him, which could not be the most ridiculous, terrible thing to happen in this movie, is that she snuck aboard, because
okay,
she's a pain in the ass.
There's levels here, because somehow this kid got on the sled without them seeing it in the house. But even better, she packed a picnic basket.
Yeah, she shows him the picnic basket, and he's like, oh my god, where did you get that food? And she says, I snuck into the kitchen. Now, sometimes Miss Mavilda would send these kids to bed without even eating.
Yeah.
Why would you not sneak in the middle of the night and get food from the kitchen if that was an option?
Why all kids not sneak out?
It's so weird. Like, I don't know. This movie's baffling.
The son goes, he was like to the sister, oh, it's going to be harder now. It's easier to hide one kid, but to hide two, you really got us in trouble. And I was like, why didn't all the kids sneak out? Because in all honesty, she doesn't want them there. They got to get away from this woman.
Right. Exactly. They all should have snuck out. I mean, that was like their chance to make their great escape away from this woman.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a demon. So like why would you want to stay there with her? Like she's just awful. But this movie gets worse. It gets worse than this, if you can imagine. And there's only like 4 minutes left.
Well, this next
only 4 minutes left.
This is when we paused it. Because that's when I actually paused it right after this moment because some crazy stuff happened and we were in shock. The kids go out and suddenly they get chased by a bear in the winter.
Yeah, I was like, wait, I looked over at you and I couldn't help it. I'm like, isn't he supposed to be hibernating?
I was waiting for you to ask that because I kept saying too, I was like, yeah, I don't think this is a thing. And now also the bear is voiced by the Rancor from Star Wars. It's either the cross between a Rancor and the old black and white. What was that movie where they had the iguana and they stuck like spikes on his back to make it look like a dinosaur?
Oh God!
And it let it loose on a small little miniatures.
Yes, I don't remember.
It's like
movie
that
was,
sound effects they used. So they have that, and also. This bear is vicious. It's screaming, comes after them. They think they're going to die. And for some odd reason, Licorice crashes into an invisible wall.
Okay,
that's on a cliff.
Here's the thing. The kids notice that they're about to go right over the icy cliff because there's nowhere else to go. And this bear's chasing them. So Licorice, instead of just stopping or turning or something, he crashes into something and knocks himself out. This is the dog. He like just crashes. What?
In one of the shots, he looks like he's crumbled.
Yeah, because there's no other way to go except over the cliff. So where's the invisible wall that he smashed into?
He just looks like a crumbled mess on the side, like he's dead.
Yeah,
Licorice. But then suddenly, Licorice defends the kids from the bear, and they have a fight.
Oh yeah, it's a nice tussle.
He actually bites his leg, and he just like whacks him, and it makes a noise, like a funny comical boing.
And then you see him like laying in the snow with his tongue out.
Yeah,
and we're like, oh my God, he's dead.
Yeah, the bear killed him. But even better is that the little girl falls from the cliff, and she's holding onto the edge, and the brother's got to hold her hand, and he lets go, and she falls.
We're like,
down
oh my
a cliff
God,
into the nothingness.
Did they just kill this kid?
She's just screaming all the way down.
God.
Your face was like, what?
I could not believe it. I was like, holy shit, they killed a kid.
They killed a kid. And the bear goes now runs at the son, the brother. Mm-hmm. And Licorice is able to bite him again, and he falls to his death off the side of the cliff as well.
The bear's gone now.
So now you're thinking, okay, the sister is either dead, and if she's not, she has a bear with her?
Well, I mean, there's no way that bear survived that.
Her shot looks like she went on a slide.
Yeah, she was like sliding
But she
down
went to
the side of
nothingness.
the mountain, but into nothingness.
Yeah.
So we don't know where she went. But it doesn't matter because if the bear's still alive and it gets her, or it doesn't get her,
Also, it's freezing.
the elements are going to get her.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was like, holy shit, they killed this kid. I can't believe they did this.
And the best part is, it just leaves us with that because they just show this kid in the sled that they were in destroyed.
Yeah.
And the kid and Licorice have just, like, the Licorice has been knocked around.
Yeah, he's had a rough
So
day.
you're thinking, now it's snowing and they lost the sister and then now he's going to look for her and he just stops in the snowbank underneath the cliff and he's just like crying and he's just like, I can't find her.
I was so sad for him.
And now you're like, these kids are dead. Like, they're gonna die because
yeah.
no one knows they're there and everything.
In the
And
snow,
now,
they're freezing to death.
that's when we cut back to Judy finally gets home and finds out everything that's been happening. The kids tell her, this is what's been going on. You know, Mavilda was going to plan to set you up. Mavilda was going to cut down Mrs. Hopewell. Your kids went out to get Santa Claus.
They went to find Santa.
And Judy's reaction is, oh my God, I have to ask Mavilda for help. And the kid's like, no, Mavilda's evil. You know, like, don't go to her. And she does. And Mavilda's like, I'm not going to help you. And so, and she goes, in fact, she goes, you're the problem here, and you're fired. She
fucking fired her. So this woman is so awful that she knows that this woman's child, her 2 children are missing, and they're in the snow and they're freezing to death. And she has no desire to help her whatsoever to save these kids' lives. And she tells her that she's fired on top of it.
She's fired.
So, kick her when she's already down. This woman's terrible.
Yeah. And Judy goes up to her room and stares out at the North Star. Now, by the way, it's dark again.
It was just daytime.
It's just daytime. That means it's been hours and she hasn't gone to look for her kids.
They went to the Ed Wood School of Day and Night.
And, I mean, that means hours have gone by. And she looks at the North Star, and the North Star blinks. And what I can only explain is her children's disembodied voices calling for their mother.
Yes. It was so creepy.
It's creepy.
Mommy.
Yeah, mommy.
It was so creepy. I was like, holy shit.
And she has a tear. And I was like, go look for your kids, you piece of shit. And then I'm also like, they're dead.
Yeah, but then the best thing happens when Louis arrives with the fucking chainsaw.
And that's why I wanted to point out. She said, okay, after Christmas.
Yeah.
So that would be that this is after Christmas, right? But we know that's not true because in the next scene someone else says something else. And I was like, wait a minute. He's already here with this chainsaw, the electric chainsaw, the famous electric chainsaw that everybody knows this guy for. And he is not the same character that's drinking a beer on his couch.
It doesn't look like it, no.
He's a totally different person now. And he's very nice. Except he starts revving up his chainsaw to cut down the tree. The kids are freaking out. Judy runs outside and gets the kids to stand in front of the tree and wrap around it. Her kids are missing.
And they're concerned about a tree.
A tree.
Yeah. Yep.
She gets these kids to stand around the Christmas tree.
I couldn't believe it.
And Mavilda tells this guy to rev the chainsaw and go near them with it.
Yeah, to scare them. As soon as you go near them, they'll scatter. And they're holding hands and he was hesitant. He's like, I don't want to do that. But then just in that time when he was about to go over to the tree with the chainsaw, freaking mayor shows up.
The mayor shows up and says, what is happening out here in the dark on Christmas Eve?
What are you doing out here?
Yeah, what are you doing out here?
Why is the mayor out there?
And why don't these kids have clothes?
None of them have a hat or a
why
jacket.
don't you have good clothes out here in the dark in the cold weather? What's happening here, Mavilda? And Mavilda, and he's like, please, the kids run over to the mayor and says, Mr. Mayor, please don't let them kill Mrs. Hopewell. And he's like, who's Mrs. Hopewell? And it's the tree.
They explain that that's their friend, the tree.
Yeah. And also, she doesn't have the money. They all this stuff. And he's like, what? And Mavilda grabs the chainsaw and starts trying to, kill everybody.
I know, it was crazy. They were still in front of the tree.
Yeah.
And this nutty broad takes the freaking chainsaw and, she was just going to hack them up with the tree? She didn't even care.
Yeah.
So it's what the hell is happening here? And so then, this is the craziest thing. Go ahead. Do you want to say that?
No, go. I don't know what you were going to say.
Well, anyway, so they stop her from, chainsawing the tree, obviously.
No.
Santa comes.
No. That's what I was worried that you were going to say. You were going to forget the best part.
What was the best part?
Well, first off, about 1,000 people show up.
Okay, the whole entire... Okay, so they do a long shot, a faraway shot of the tree.
And there's no snow on the ground.
There's no snow on the ground, which is terrible animation, yes. But there's the whole entire town. I was like, wait, the tree is they're circling around the tree,
they don't want to see
the Whoville people in the Grinch. They're all circling around the tree. I'm like, where do these people fucking come from? Were they in the mayor's car?
That's what I was wondering too. They all want to know what's happening in their neighborhood, apparently, and no one is around for miles. You can see in the picture. There's so many people that the animators forgot and put placeholders. There's actual grayed out placeholders for where people are supposed to be, and they didn't draw them in. That's funny.
They show this man and woman from the town, I guess. We don't know who they are or care, but right behind them is it's like a cardboard cutout.
Cardboard cutouts. Now, here's what I was worried that Joe was going to forget. She did. Mavilda revs the chainsaw up and goes to hit the tree with the chainsaw, and is struck by lightning.
Oh my god, that's the best thing. That's right. She was
She is struck by lightning and disappears from the scene.
But she's okay, though.
She disappears from the scene. No one knows where she is. Even the mayor says, "Where is she?" She's like hiding behind the house. Now, okay.
She's not on the ground, dead and fried or anything.
Yeah. The husband shows up.
Oh,
the
hi,
husband is
Ray.
she's like, "Where are my?" He's like, "Where's my kids?"
Oh, about that. Well, you see, they're gone.
Well, the son just randomly shows up on the sled with licorice because the mayor says, "We gotta send out a search party," right? And that's when he shows up and he says, "Oh, mom, dad," and they're like, "Oh, where's the daughter, Lily?" And she's like, "She's gone."
She's gone.
And they're like, "What do you mean gone?"
So I thought that they were going to have another see, I knew at this point we only had about 90 seconds left of this movie.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, what are they going to do? Because they can't spend another half an hour searching for this kid. I mean, what are they going to do? And obviously, what happens? Santa comes and drops off Lily.
Santa Claus comes, drops off Lily, makes magically the kids all get clothes.
He puts he puts magic on them.
Just points at them.
Yep.
And by the way, we got to point out that the best animation of the whole movie is Santa Claus's face, and it's only shown maybe 5 seconds worth of his face.
He looks like the Coca-Cola Santa.
He does. He actually does a wink. Bing,
yep.
And then they do it back. Bing.
Yep.
He points at the kids. They get clothes. The teddy bear gets an arm, and then he throws presents with parachutes out all over the town.
And they go directly down the chimneys for the kids.
And his voice is pretty stellar too.
It is. But so then
they say, "Where's Mrs. Mavilda?"
Miss Mavilda pops out from behind the house. Now, first of all, this woman should be dead. Okay, she just got struck by lightning, and she's not on the ground. She just disappears after she gets struck by lightning. But she ends up behind the house somehow and pops out. And the mayor's like, "Okay, well, this is what we're gonna do to bring this to a conclusion."
Actually, well, no, because Judy goes and gets Mrs. Mavilda and says, "Oh, you don't mean bad. You don't mean to be bad. Merry Christmas." It's so weird. And husband goes, they're like, "Oh, we want Judy. We want you to run the orphanage." And then he's like, "Well, I'm sorry, honey. You can't take that job." That's what the husband says. "I don't think you can take that job. We're going to be too busy raising their 9 children."
I'm still wondering where he got 9.
Maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to insert it. Whatever,
no, he did say 9.
I think he said 9.
But where?
He
where
says,
are the 9?
Our 9 children. She's like, 9 children? We only have 2. Okay, you dumb broad. Obviously, you know who. And she's like, "We adopted all the kids. Yay!" And she's like, "I am the happiest person on the earth."
Okay, but here's the thing. The best part about this movie that makes me infuriated is the fact that the villain never gets her comeuppance.
Well, she got struck by lightning.
She's fine. She's fine.
The narration says, and the mayor declares the tree a landmark, and it is going to be taken care of forever until it dies. He actually says it'll be taken care of until it dies. It's going to be a landmark, and they make it into a Christmas tree. It just so happens to turn into a Christmas tree, and that's when we get the narration back, and everybody was happy. The town was all great. The kids all had a mother and father, and Miss Mavilda is doing great too. She's a good person now.
She's Judy's assistant.
He actually goes, "And don't worry, she's good now."
And Mrs. Mavilda, well, Mrs. Mavilda, she's going to be all right. From what I've heard, she went back to work in the orphanage as Judy's assistant. Well, don't worry about Mrs. Mavilda. She's good now. She learned that you always win when you are good. Merry Christmas, everybody.
She's actually Miss Judy's assistant at the orphanage. And I went, "What do you mean at the orphanage? She's raising 9 children."
Yeah, okay. Here's the thing. This woman, first of all, is a bad person. Okay, she's a bad person. She gambles. She treats the kids like crap. She tried to pretty
Kill
much
them.
assassinate them.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's just terrible.
Yeah.
And now they're allowing her to stay at the orphanage. Like, I don't understand this.
But how is Judy going to run the orphanage if they adopted all the kids?
Yes, and I'm looking at a photograph here. There was literally 5 kids to start with. I counted when I was watching the movie. There's 5. And then plus her 2 kids. That would make it 7. Not 9. Not 9.
Unless the husband was counting them as 9. Did he say
no,
9
he said
people to
our
raise?
9 kids. That's what he said.
All right, yeah, I can't wait to hear it again.
First of all, jackass, you haven't even been in the movie. You've been doing who knows what with some, freaking hose or something. Where have you been?
And let's also point out something very important here. Nobody cares that they just saw Santa Claus. The town is pretty chill with it.
Right. And these kids who don't know anything about Christmas, seeing
An old man
in a sleigh with reindeer flying around, spreading magic everywhere, that would probably put me in some kind of like crazy state of mind. These kids are fine.
Yeah.
They
fine.
don't even think anything of it at all. It's mind-boggling. The animation, the voiceovers. I mean, I asked you at one point, I'm like, do you see the animation flickering? And you said, wait, what? There's something wrong with the animation? I was like, oh my God. I mean, yes, I know there is something wrong with the animation, Scott.
Yeah, that's the least of the concerns, the flickering.
I'm just making sure that my eyes weren't going wonky because
oh my God, it's so bad.
It was the worst animation ever.
It's not the worst animation. I've seen worse, which is crazy. I'll tell everybody again. When people ask what is the worst movie, Food Fight is painful.
Yeah, that was bad.
Food Fight looks like shit.
Yeah,
and
that was bad.
I could take this because there were shots. I was like, that doesn't look terrible. I mean, it looks. Also, I saw this director worked on some other things like Super Friends.
Yeah.
And some of the animation in there is pretty awful. I mean, a lot of the old Hanna-Barbera stuff being overused and reused and shots. That's why that Space Ghost Coast to Coast and Brak Show are so funny because they're reusing those terrible animations and they know how bad it was.
Yeah.
C-Lab. C-Lab is a perfect example of just them reusing terrible animation.
Yeah.
And this is exactly like that. Reusing animation from different things. You could see that this guy probably worked on. This has to be. I can't find any information about it, but it can't be like it. It couldn't have been anything but someone trying to rush a project together that didn't come together properly. But he was working on it already, and he just said, "Screw it, we'll put it out as a special."
Yeah, and it
had to
only
be.
aired one time, and no one's ever seen it again.
Because everybody saw that, they were like, wow, that was weird and rushed,
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
So...
It was sad, though. Like, there was a lot of, there's some sad parts in it, Like, you kind of felt for the kids, because Miss Mavilda was such a shrew, and they didn't,
absolutely.
They were just so poor. I don't know. I felt bad for them.
Our question normally is this the worst movie ever made?
No, still no.
It's still no. And I'll ask you this. Is it the worst Christmas special you've ever seen?
No, that would still be Star Wars.
That would be Star Wars Holiday Special.
That thing was embarrassing, man.
That is...
I never felt more terrible for an actress having to sing in that movie. It's terrible.
People want to know what the worst movies ever were. Christmas Special, Star Wars Christmas Special, and the Food Fight are pretty hard to watch.
Yes.
Pretty horrendous. And I still would take this over either one of those.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, are we putting it in order and ranking order?
Yeah, I'm going to say that. I'm going to say, since it's not the worst movie ever made, we have a list of movies we are putting in order. Would you put this at number 1 on that list right now? Or do you think this is still better than Mortal Kombat Annihilation?
This is better than Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
I don't know about that.
Are you kidding me? Have I lost you?
I think this might be worse. So far of the movies we've watched, this might be the worst.
No way. This is 45 minutes of some bad animation and bad voiceovers, but the message here, I mean, even actually, the woman didn't even get her comeuppance at the end, so it's kind of like a bad message. You should punish the ones that are bad. Like she's been treating these kids like shit, and she gets to stay in the same house with them. Like that's just crazy to me. There's no justice. But as far as being worse than Mortal Kombat, at least the story here was a little bit better. I mean,
well,
Mortal
I think you're
Kombat,
saying that only because it's an hour. It's less than an hour.
No, I know. Let me tell you something. There is no amount of money that can get me to sit through Annihilation again.
Is
okay?
it that bad?
It is awful.
Because I want to do something on this show that is very bad compared to that.
Compared to Annihilation?
Yes, because we've seen a lot of movies recently that are way worse, and Annihilation is still sitting there. And I'm like, comparatively, the things that we have watched, Annihilation doesn't look so bad after some of these movies we've seen. I think that this movie,
you're forgetting.
I think that this movie you can at least say, and it's hard to call it a movie because it's a TV special, but there's nothing to it. It's very lazy. It's cheap as all hell. It seems like a computer wrote it and directed it. I don't know.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. I watched 43 minutes of this movie, and I would probably sit through this again before I watched Annihilation. I literally stopped that movie. After we ended that movie, I was physically irate. I hated it. Okay, I hated it.
Is it because we watched it twice in a row? I think we for the show. I think we watched it again. Like we watched it the night before, but something happened and we had to rewatch it.
No, I don't remember, but I can tell you the fucking acting, the special effects, everything it was awful.
All right, so if the Annihilation is still number one, is this number two?
Yes, it's number 2.
It's number 2.
What did I have at number 2? I think I had. No, what did I?
Well, I know we just put Silent Night on the list.
Oh God, I don't even think that's. You know what? I don't even think this movie is as bad as Silent Night.
No, I would watch Silent Night again.
No, I would never watch that movie again.
You don't want to, and I'm just saying if you were forced. No? All right, you have The Mask of the Red Death from 1989.
That's my number 2?
Yeah.
This movie's worse than that.
It's worse than that.
Yeah.
So it's going number 2 for you.
Yeah, it's number 2.
Yeah, you have Silent Night at number 4.
Eh.
I know Invasion USA is number 3. So,
okay, that's accurate. That's,
okay.
Yeah.
So this Christmas, this month, this December, on Talking Trash, 3 of the four movies we did hit the top 5.
Oh my God, this is like the worst trash of trash. Wow.
I mean, that's the whole point. We're always looking for these things. I will say that this one was a breeze to watch.
It was easy because it was only 43 minutes.
It was so shocking. I can see some people being like, what the? Just getting mad.
And they sped through it because you could tell. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I can see some people getting mad at watching it. But for anybody who's just like, what? It just goes by in minutes. Because it's I don't even know if the runtime is flying because the narration's flying, but it just feels like 20 minutes go by quick.
I know, but it's like, in a Christmas special, you kind of want, okay, so there's some gloom and doom in the beginning, and then there's a villain, and then you want the villain to get theirs at the end. They're just desserts, and then you want it to be uplifting at the end. But I did not feel uplifted at the end of this. I was just like, okay. Like, it seems like everyone got what they wanted, but the villain got away with being such a dick.
Yeah.
It made no sense.
True.
Like, I don't understand that.
When she got struck by lightning, I wish she would have blown up.
And I wanted to say to you, like, this motherfucker, Ray, he shows up at the end of the movie after leaving his wife and kids for like 3 months, okay? And then says, oh, we're going to adopt all these children who he's never spent 5 minutes with. And he can't even take care of his own family. So, what are you talking about, Ray? I mean, you're going to adopt 9 kids, which I don't know where he pulled that number out of. I'm still telling you there's only 7 total, including his 2 kids. But whatever. Okay, Ray, you're husband of the year. Are you going to disappear for another 3 months and make this woman raise all these kids again? Because that's what he's been doing through the whole movie. Sucks. Fuck you, Ray.
Fuck you, Ray. Hey, look. There's a little segment that you usually do on this show.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can. I think you really need to do it this time.
I found a 10.
No. That's a fake. That's like some asshole that worked on the project writing that.
Who cares? It's funny. You have to read it.
All right. Let me find
okay,
it.
we're gonna say this because we on Joe's segment on the show has always been why we can't have nice things, where people rate things a little too high or a little too low. We haven't said what we actually rating this movie yet. So this whole thing on IMDb has 1 stars.
Yeah.
And there is a 10.
All right, I'm going with it. Changed my life. That's the title of this 10. Okay.
That's not the one I saw.
You want me to read a different one?
No, I don't know what they are. I didn't say. I just saw that there was. Go ahead. Can't wait.
All right, changed my life. The Christmas tree changed my life. I was a socially awkward, clumsy, unpopular idiot before I watched this film. But in 1991, on one faithful Christmas, this film aired on TV. I watched it all the way through, loving every second of it. Ever since I saw it, my life has been improved, and I've seen the beauty in life that I missed before. This film was somewhat of a spiritual awakening for me. The animation is beautiful and fluid. The characters are dynamic and interesting, and each character goes through their own incredible arc, and they learn from their mistakes to become a better person. Miss Mavilda is an amazing villain. She is just so amazing to watch. All the child actors blow me away with their acting. It's the best child acting since Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul. Overall, I recommend this movie. 10 out of 10. 5 stars. 100%. Good, great, amazing, fantastic. Please watch this whenever you have the chance. Please, seriously do. I can't take it. Help, the creator had me at gunpoint. Bang.
What's the username on this guy?
Username on this guy is Flippy Frogman.
All right, Flippy Frogman.
Yep. Flippy Frogman.
I hope that is Froggy Flips on YouTube. That would be hilarious.
This one's good. I got it 1 star. It's so fucking long I cannot read it. And there's a lot of... They're all
1 stars
yeah.
almost. I know a lot of them are like boo and all that kind of stuff. I almost thought that review was for something else until he actually said Milvilda.
Yeah. I know, I thought it was...
I was like, you're reading the wrong page or something until he said that.
Oh, man.
God bless the people who give 10 stars as jokes on things. Yeah, so what are we giving it, though? What do you give this movie?
Okay.
Out of our 10-star rating, usually we do?
I'm gonna give it a 2. I'm giving it a 2 because it's better than Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and I gave that a 1.
You know, it's weird. I feel like I want to give it a 3, but yeah, it's a
2. It's a solid 2.
It's a weird one. There's an odd part of me that's like, I thought this was going to be way worse. Because we've seen bad. But yeah, I guess I'll fall with you into 2. But I don't think it's the worst I've ever seen by far of these Christmas specials.
I mean, the animation was really bad. All the children looked exactly the same. Except one had glasses.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It was very bizarre. The animation was just absolutely terrible. And they gave the main villain the most love and attention on her face. Like, even though it was purple lipstick and eyeshadow and she looked like a hot mess, they still gave her the most attention. And like, you know, the Cruella de Vil, I guess. Whatever. But, no, this movie just sucks. It was, you know, as far as specials go, like, this did not brighten my holiday season. It was quite the drag.
That's so funny. All right. I mean, hey, guys, that wraps up December. That wraps up 2023. We're moving into 2024. Can you believe it? Yeah, we're going to see you next month for January, where who knows what I'm going to put as my theme, because it's my birthday month. And usually I torture people with a theme. So we'll see how that goes. We don't know yet. Thank you so much for listening, and we appreciate you. It's been a fun month. I hope everybody who does listen enjoyed our crazy year of trying to do talking trash and before and after reviews. We appreciate you, and I hope you had a good Christmas, since this comes out the day after Christmas.
Yikes.
Yeah, I know, right? Have a good one and see ya.
Well, wasn't that a bizarre and merry story? You might be wondering whatever happened to Scott and Joe. Well, they continued to watch bad movies into the new year. They say if you listen close to the wind on breezy days, you can still hear Scott messing up the pronunciations of names and common words. And, if you listen even closer to a thunderstorm, you might just hear Joe declare a movie a wet turd. As for the movies, Invasion USA, Silent Night, and A Christmas Tree, they died in a very pleasant fire that oddly only affected Christmas movie trash. Ha 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 ha. Isn't that nice? It's a Christmas miracle. I hope you all had fun listening this year. We so do appreciate you. Have a great new year.
What a hangover. Oh no. She's here. I'm supposed to go shopping with Judy for some clothes for those orphans. And I lost the money. What should I tell her? I don't have to explain anything to her. Come in!
I'm ready, Mrs. Mavilda.
We're not going to go shopping anymore.
What? Why not?
Because I said so.
But Mrs. Mavilda, I don't understand. The children are waiting for their new clothes. I already told them.
There is nothing for you to understand. Just go back to work. Wait! I hear the children playing now. Are they outside? I want to tell you something and you better listen. I don't want the children playing outside anymore. You better make sure of that.
Because you don't want the mayor to see them without new clothes.
How can you dare to... All right! Now you know. And now that you know, you better make sure you don't tell him a thing, or you and your children are out in the cold.